The iron chair waited in the center of the chamber, unmoving, patient, as if it had always been there. Its weight pressed into the stone floor, 4 iron legs bolted deep into masonry that remembered other centuries, other bodies. The backrest rose high and rigid, its surface crowded with dull metal points, neither sharp nor kind. The seat offered no mercy, its field of spikes arranged with careful symmetry, matched by the footrest below where iron teeth waited for solace that would soon tremble. Torchlight breathed across the metal, warming nothing. Shadows gathered in the hollows between spikes, darkening them until they seemed deeper than they were. The air carried the scent of old rust, smoke, and human fear that had soaked into the walls long before memory learned to keep records. It was later written that such chairs were tools of order, not cruelty. Municipal courts in the German lands spoke of necessity. Northern Italian city-states recorded them as instruments of clarity. Ecclesiastical tribunals from the Low Countries to the Alpine passes listed them among regulated devices, neither rare nor celebrated. What the records rarely described was how the body understood the chair long before the mind did. The prisoner was guided forward, his steps uneven on the cold stone. His eyes never left the chair. He had seen iron before, shackles and hinges and gates, but never iron shaped with such intention. The rings at the armrests caught the torchlight, polished smooth by hands that had clawed and twisted. The spikes bore signs of wear, their tips blunted not by age alone, but by pressure applied slowly and without pause. Whispers spread that some chairs were heated from beneath, coals placed carefully so the iron grew warm without glowing. Others claimed this was an exaggeration, a rumor born in taverns and carried by frightened tongues. Chroniclers disagreed. What could not be disputed was the chair's design, meant to make stillness impossible and movement unbearable. When the prisoner was lowered into the seat, the chamber seemed to contract. The spikes met flush through cloth, pressing rather than piercing, multiplying pain by refusing to end it. His shoulders tightened, breath shortened. The iron accepted his weight without sound. Rings closed around his wrists, thick and unyielding. They did not cut, but they held, fixing him in place with the certainty of gravity. His feet were drawn onto the footrest, solace resting against the studded surface, toes curling by instinct that found no relief. The body learned quickly that resistance only deepened the pressure. It was said in court that the chair did not wound, only persuaded. According to palace servants in certain border courts, men left it unable to walk for days, sometimes weeks. Some claimed nerves were ruined beyond healing. Others insisted these tales were exaggerated, spread to frighten the disobedient. Yet the chair remained, unchanged, its purpose understood without instruction. The interrogator stood close, but did not touch. His presence carried the authority of the room, of law rendered physical. He watched the way breath moved the prisoner's chest, how muscles strained against inevitability. There was no urgency. Time itself was an ally here. In similar chambers in Castile, in Burgundian holdings, in the deeper prisons of the Holy Roman Empire, the iron chair served the same function. It replaced chaos with geometry. Pain was no longer wild. It was measured, distributed across the body like a map. The torch sputtered, wax dripped onto stone. Somewhere above, footsteps passed, indifferent to what unfolded below. According to whispered accounts, some prisoners confessed before the chair was fully secured, breaking at the sight alone. Others endured for hours, their bodies trembling, skin bruising where spikes pressed deepest. There were rumors of men who sang hymns until their voices failed, and of others who went silent so completely that clerks later noted the absence with unease. The chair did not hurry them. Metal cooled and warmed with the room, responding to every shift of weight. A slight lean to one side intensified pressure along ribs. A gasp drove spikes deeper into the thighs. The body became its own executioner, every instinct punished by design. Modern scholars would later argue over intent. Some believed the chair was meant as a threat more than a tool. Others noted its careful construction, the uniformity of its spikes, the presence of footrest and arm rings, features unnecessary for spectacle but essential for endurance. What could not be denied was the chair's persistence across regions and decades. In certain towns along the Rhine, it was called the questioning chair. In parts of northern France, it bore a different name, one less formal, remembered in oral warnings given to children who strayed too close to authority. Names shifted. Iron did not. As minutes stretched, the prisoner's breath grew shallow, sweat darkened his linen. His head bowed, not in submission, but in exhaustion, neck muscles burning as spikes pressed into his back. Blood did not flow freely. It seeped slowly, leaving faint stains where cloth thinned and skin protested. There were accounts of chairs like this being placed in public halls, visible but unused, a promise more than an act. Others were hidden deep within castles and monasteries, where stone absorbed sound and memory alike. In one legend from the Tyrol, it was said a chair remained locked in a cellar long after its use had ended, and that iron rang softly at night, settling, remembering. Historians dismiss this as superstition, yet the story endured. The interrogator moved closer. The clerk shifted his weight, ink drying on the page as time lost its shape. No words were recorded in this moment. Only posture, duration, outcome. Pain here was not explosive. It was accumulative. It pressed inward, convincing the body that it was collapsing into itself. Muscles shook, teeth clenched. The chair waited. Later reports would claim the prisoner eventually gave what was demanded. Others suggested he simply agreed to anything to be released. The truth dissolved somewhere between parchment and breath. What remained certain was the mark left by iron, not always visible, but deeply felt. When at last the restraints were loosened, the body did not rise easily. Limbs refused commands. The spikes released their hold reluctantly, leaving impressions that lingered like ghosts beneath the skin. The chair stood empty again, unchanged, its surface cooling as if nothing had occurred. It would be cleaned. It would be used again. In another city, another court, another year. The iron chair did not seek cruelty. It required obedience. It did not kill quickly. It convinced slowly. And in chambers like this, across stone floors, worn smooth by centuries, one question always remained unspoken. How much of the human body can be broken before the will follows?